What's going on, everyone? Jim Hill here, back in, and today we are, just like I said in the Metroid Prime 4 video, we are talking about Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Now, I don't know why it's taken me so long to talk about this glorious game, but look at the cover, it's holographic. It's so cool. You have the slit in between here with Samus, you got the light Aether with the Luminoth, and you got the dark Aether with the Ing here. I'm not sure if this is just a regular Ing or it kind of looks like Emperor Ing. And then for some weird reason, I get like the reticle thing being here, like the in-game HUD, real reticle is here. And then you notice, yeah, there's also the power beam section here, and then your light and dark ammo meter, and then the missile meter. Why is this on the cover? Like, this kind of looks cool here, but why is this here? Like, I didn't even notice this until recently. I'm like, what is this doing here? It makes it look so much more cluttered than it needs to be. It's just like there. I don't know. Anyway, it looks really cool here on the back. A War of Light and Darkness. Metroid Prime 2 is a dark and light world, as I'm going to get into. I have the full manual and disc. This is probably pretty rare. I'm not even going to lie to you. I got a steal on this on eBay back in the day. Holy. I miss when we had full manuals, all in the color, telling you all the controls. The cool tips and tricks. Look at this. Just cool. So there's that. We have a little ad for Nintendo Power. RIP Nintendo Power. Also very, very cool. That code doesn't work for anything. Those are so cool. The Prime 2 cover on that. And then an ad for Metroid Prime Hunters, because this game was 2004. And Prime Hunters First Hunt, the demo, launched with the DS. So they were advertising that, yeah, it's going to come out soon, the year after, in 2005. That's pretty cool. This is not even in English. Is this signed in English? There we go. So that's pretty cool. It said launching... Oh, I guess... it's just an ad for the DS and First Hunt, so that's pretty cool, actually. So there's all that stuff. And put it all back in, and then we are going to... I'm going to play the trilogy version of the game. Since this is in widescreen, it'll look better, so... play the actual game. Metroid Prime Trilogy. You're gonna see this screen a couple of times, since we're gonna do this with port video for 1 and port video for 3. Okay. So, I believe I have a completed save file here. And unlike Metroid Prime 4, when you complete a game on Metroid Prime 1, 2, or 3, you keep all your scan data. I don't know why they thought removing that from 4 was a good idea, but they would be wrong. Also, on all 3 of these, you can see this little circle, which means that's your first completion. The second circle is your second, so you can play each of these 3 times and have your log data carried over like New Game Plus. So that's what it does there. So today we're talking about Metroid Prime 2. And then Veteran is the original normal mode of Metroid Prime 2. Normal here is easy, like in Metroid Prime 3. Hyper mode is hard mode for Metroid Prime 2, so that's the difference here. I'm just gonna... I'm on Veteran. I played the game on Veteran. That's the intention. The loading screens on Trilogy, so cool, man. I don't know why they ever got rid of these things. They're genuinely amazing. So, Metroid Prime 2 is a sequel that originally, at the time, it came out in 2004. And people were playing Halo 2 and Half-Life 2, two also highly anticipated sequels at the time. So Metroid Prime 2 kind of flew under the radar. And it's not totally its fault because, like I said, Half-Life 2 and Halo 2, are you kidding me? Those are some of the most hyped games in the history of video games. Like, that's just absurd. So yeah, the release timing in November of 2004 was not great. 2002 for Metroid Prime 1 was a much better time to release, as Halo 1 was the year before that, and Metroid Prime looked way better than Halo 1. Metroid Prime 2 also looks way better than Halo 2. I'm talking about originals on the Xbox. The GameCube, I think, was actually weaker than the Xbox, but the Retro Studios really knows with their art direction where to put all their assets to and how to make the games look as good as they do. So you're gonna see that in a second here when this loads. I don't know why it's not loading or why it's taking so long, but I will resume when that happens. Okay, so I just started on a new save. I'll showcase the beginning of the game or whatever. I could actually go with that. I'll split it up. But basically, in Metroid Prime 2, being a sequel to Metroid Prime, it does share a lot of similarities with Prime 1, obviously still a first-person Metroid game. It still has different beams. There's three of them. Still has different scan visors. Still has the morph ball bombs and power bomb, boost ball. It shares a lot of the same upgrades, you know. It does also have a lot of new factors that both change things about the first game and both improve upon it. And like I said, it's more so a change. It's not necessarily some things are not necessarily better or worse. They're just different. If you like it more, you would say it's better. If you like it less, it would be worse. It really just depends who you ask. So for me, Metroid Prime 2, the overall world map, I think is an improvement over Metroid Prime 1. And that's saying that as Metroid Prime is my favorite game of all time. So if I can say that, then you know it's pretty good. And the reason for that is I'm going to show you here is the center of the map, the Temple Grounds, is always aligned with the rest of the areas, so they all circle around. So the Temple Grounds in the middle, and you have Traverse Bog, Temple, Aegon Waste, and Sanctuary Fortress, and they all connect an elevator to back to Temple Grounds, so you can easily get to place. And then they all have an elevator that connects each other too. So like Temple Grounds and connect to Aegon Waste, and then Aegon Waste goes to Traverse Bog, and then Traverse Bog goes to Sanctuary Fortress. So just like a shortcut between them. It's very well laid out. So, in the beginning of the game, as you see, Galactic Federation, Distress Call, Samus jumps out of the ship, all cool. And the thing is, with Metroid Prime 2, unlike Metroid Prime 1, 3, and 4, we don't start in an area and then go to the main planet. We actually start at the main planet from the beginning of the game, which I think is very interesting. I don't think it really makes a difference. It's just that like whole intro losing your stuff takes place at the beginning of the game on the same planet. It's just a different area. I just don't know why this is the only game to do that. I just find it kind of cool. It does not matter at all, just a detail I notice. Something that's also better about Metroid Prime 2 is when you're scanning things, it makes it very clear what's been scanned and what still needs to be scanned. Metroid Prime 1 was already fine, but this game's even more obvious with how it looks like bright blue stuff. And then when you're scanning certain things, it'll give you like specific data. And then the important things that you need to progress are always outlined in red. Things you could just scan for like lore and stuff are usually a different color. And then like the map here is different too. Once again, still at the map station, different animations, all that stuff. Not like this matters too much or anything, just something you notice. What I do really like about this game, something the first game already did well, is animations and cutscenes. Like the way Samus moves, and like when she's like exhausted when you get in the save station and then recharges up. It's just really satisfying to watch. Now, this is the Wii version of the game, so the aiming is a lot easier to do with full motion. It's like aiming with a mouse in my opinion, except you're pointing it up instead of dragging. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. Another cool thing is because this is based on the Wii version of Metroid Prime 2, just like Metroid Prime 1 on Trilogy, they have the spring ball if you flick your Wii remote up, which is very nice instead of having the morph ball bomb, because there's definitely parts in this game, but mainly the first game, where you have to morph ball bomb jump. So you have to time your bombs accordingly in order to jump somewhere. But it's a lot easier in Metroid Prime 3 ever since they added the spring ball, and they went back and added it to 1 and 2, which you don't understand how good of it is an improvement until you actually play and use it, and you go back to the GameCube original that doesn't have it, you're like, oh my gosh, how did I survive? So, our first ever enemies in the game are dead Galactic Federation troopers. Yes, they are zombies, possessed troopers. As you see when you scan them, it gives you a % of what they are, which is so cool. And what part of the logbook they go to. The logbook is just really cool in this game. But the music, the atmosphere, this game is horrific, bro. The dead bodies you saw earlier that you were scanning stuff get possessed by the Dark Aether, and they're freaking Galactic Federation zombies, bro. Is that not one of the coolest things you've ever seen in a Metroid game? In a game in general, I mean, come on. Like, what? That's crazy. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here when we get to the next, like, major plot area, whatever, and kind of explain what's going on. I actually think I'm gonna load the save of my completed files and show you how the overall map layout is, because like I said, that's one of the strongest points of this game that improves over the first game. Because some people want to argue that, oh, the second game is worse in every way than the first one. And like I said, even though Metroid Prime is my favorite game of all time, no, there is things that are better in 2. There is flaws that 1 has that 2 does not have. Is there stuff that 2 has that 1 doesn't have? Yes, but overall I think it balances out. And it still makes it my second favorite game of all time. Go figure. The sequel to my favorite game is my second favorite game. Who would have thought? And then here we go, our introduction to Dark Samus. Now, Dark Samus is technically in the first game, because if you get 100% on Metroid Prime, you see the Phazon suit that Metroid Prime uses to absorb has the hand come out with the eyeball on it, and then you see that in this game on Dark Samus. Dark Samus is Metroid Prime. So, hence the name of the game. Not only is it a first-person shooter series, it used to be trilogy, but also Metroid Prime, the entity, was a character consistent with the plot in all 3 games. So this is the part of the game when you lose all your abilities, well, not all your abilities, like Metroid Prime 1. You don't lose all of them in this game, you just lose most of them. So we have the boost ball we lose, space jump we lose, morph ball bomb you lose, and missiles. But you keep your charge beam, your barrier suit, and the morph ball. So you keep your basics. Metroid Prime 4 I think is a very similar thing. You lose all those extra things, but you keep the basics. Metroid Prime 3 you do not lose anything, which is interesting. I don't know why they're so obsessed with you losing stuff. Just don't give it to you in the first place. Or they just want a lower reason to lose the stuff that you had in the first game, but you don't even have everything that you had in the first game, so either way it doesn't really make sense. I don't know. But it's fun to just work your way. I love in games, starting from 0 and working your way up to an absolute powerhouse. That's why I love Metroid Prime so much, because that's exactly what you do. So you'll see these doors and these items in these areas that you can't get before, but then later on in the game, you'll come back to these areas and you, oh, I can get this ability, and use this ability to get this ability, and get all these upgrades, and it's really satisfying, the gameplay loop, to do all that stuff. I really love it, and it tells you all the stuff you... Oh, we also had Grapple Beam for some reason, which we literally can't even use. So, I'm not even sure why we had that in the first place. All you gotta do is go here, scan, go in the elevator, and we're off to the temple grounds, which I believe we're already technically in right now. Another thing that this game really does well, Metroid Prime also did this, but the sweeping shots when you enter a new area, it'll like pan out, you'll see in a second here. It's just a very satisfying thing. Good, like, cutscene direction. It's gonna play, I think. Or is it a later area? I think it's a later area. My bad. Like I said, I'm just explaining the beginning of the game stuff here, but Metroid Prime 2 is really a game that grows on you. It's not a game, at least for me, that I initially thought was such a good game. I always thought it was a good game. Obviously, I liked it because of more Metroid Prime, but I didn't like it nearly as much as I like the first one. But nowadays, coming back to it and replaying it, it just feels so cozy. I remembered a lot more than I thought I did. And the music and the gameplay, and especially, if there's anything this game does well, it is the bosses. This game has the best Metroid bosses in the entire series. They are so well designed. They are so well done. I love them so much. It has better bosses than Prime 1 and Prime 3, and also has amazing music. The first game has amazing music, and this game does too. I think this game has better music for bosses, but the first game has better, like, ambient music. But, man, there's so many good songs in this game. It's crazy. They need to remaster this game. They need to put the soundtrack in Nintendo Music because more people need to listen to it. It's so good. So, yeah, there's my over-explaining of that. And let's continue on to the more completed save file. Here we are, the light suit in all its glory. What I notice about in Prime 4 is the Viola suit looks a lot like the light suit, and the Super Viola suit looks even cooler. So, just like in Metroid Prime 1, this game has your main key quest, as I like to call it, where at the end of the game, you get to a point where you need all these keys to return to the gateway, and that's how you access the final area and finish the game. So instead of having 12 Trozo artifacts, this game has 9 Dark Temple keys, and they're all in the dark area. There's only a couple of them in the temple grounds, but they're usually there's a Dark Temple key for every area. So like Sanctuary Fortress has one. Um, Torvus Bog and Aegon Wayside all have 3 Dark Temple keys that are for their own areas. When you go to each area, it's very self-contained. You mostly stay in that area. So there's a lot less like unnecessary backtracking in this game. There's still backtracking, but it's like within an area that it makes sense to do. It's much more streamlined in a, I don't know, better designed way. It's not like it was horrible in the first game, but it's definitely, it just makes more sense in Metroid Prime 2, the pacing and the way the game flows. So basically your Dark Beam is kind of an Ice Beam. When you charge it up all the way, it actually freezes enemies and you can missile them and insta one-hit KO them. So those Dark Troopers that people always complain about in this game, being worse than Shozo Guardians, you can actually basically one-shot them with the Dark Beam Freeze missile combo, so it's kind of a non-issue. Another thing people complain about a lot in this game is the ammo. So you see how my power beam's infinite ammo, but if you see on the left side, we have the dark beam purple ammo and then the light beam white ammo there. And if you use dark beam ammo, you get light beam ammo. If you use light beam ammo, you get dark beam. That's like the core thing in the game. You think ammo would be a problem? Honestly, it's literally never a problem in the game because you do get a lot of ammo for them. The only times ever a problem is probably the final boss where it's harder to get it. But even then, by the final boss, you can see you can get more ammo expansions for that. So it alleviates that. And then the reason why they nerf them to have limited ammo is because they're so powerful. If you use the light beam on the main bosses especially, it does an absurd amount of damage. It actually melts them. And the thing is, this game also has the missile upgrades for each beam, and those things also annihilate things. Also, something interesting, like the 2D Metroids, this game has power bomb doors. Metroid Prime 1 did not have that. But you'll notice in certain areas, this was supposed to be a shortcut, but because I didn't unlock it from the other side before, the shortcut just doesn't work, which is honestly really annoying. When I was playing Metroid Prime 2 earlier this year, that exact thing happened to me. So even though I took the shortcut elevator from Sanctuary Fortress to Torvus Bog, the shortcut didn't work because I didn't set it up beforehand, which is... This is the only shortcut. Every other one works totally fine, but this one shortcut in particular I think is not very well designed, because you shouldn't have to pre-ready it, because you don't know what it does until later, and then you're like, oh, well now it's not a shortcut, because I have to go the long way anyway. So, I don't know, that's just a side tangent, but... Yeah, like I said, this game overall is designed better map-wise and stuff. And the main plot is just going to every area. It's very Zelda-like, going to every area, getting the keys for that area, unlocking abilities, fighting the main boss, going to the dark version of that area, fighting the boss, and then retrieving the energy to then put in the light temple so you can then move on to the next area. And once you retrieve all the light from all the areas, you get the light suit. And once you get the light suit, you can traverse the dark aether without taking any damage. I haven't actually gone the Dark Aether on this little playthrough here, but I'll do that. Use the Dark Beam to open that. Early game before you have that, there's a way to do that without that. The Light Beam does more damage to dark enemies, and the Dark enemy Beam does more damage to regular enemies. That's why you can freeze them and missile them like that. And there's a lot of just really cool upgrades and stuff tied to the Dark Beam as I can charge here. I think I have the missile upgrade. You're going to see as I decimate my enemy. Actually, I should use the Sunburst. That's like a mini plasma beam in this game, how it burns them. It's very slow, but it's like a giant bomb when it hits them. If it hits, it's devastating. If it misses, it's not very good. But look at it, it's like a black hole eclipse. It looks so cool. The Annihilator beam, the third unlockable beam, uses ammo of the light and dark beam, which is kind of terrible. But it also obliterates enemies. It does so much damage, especially on the final boss, that you're gonna want to use that ammo. So, really, really cool overall. I love all the upgrades and stuff in this game. Like I said, it doesn't improve on everything in Metroid Prime 1, but it improves on things that do actually really matter a lot, like the overall level design of the areas connecting to each other and the shortcuts and interactivity, and not having like super bad backtracking or anything like that. And yeah, I really like how it has a dark and light world concept, and it adds the screw attack. As you can see, there's a screw attack wall here. But I think it just really adds to the gameplay. It makes it challenging. It makes the atmosphere really dreadful and isolation and scary. And Metroid just always does that so well, but Metroid Prime 2 in particular just did that really, really well. So yeah, overall, that's what I think of the game. Like I said, second favorite game of all time. It's the sequel to my favorite game of all time, so of course I was gonna like it. But yeah, there's a lot of things I like about this game, and I wish more people were able to play them. If it was remastered, they would be able to. So yeah, overall, that's what I think. Let me know if you've played the game. Let me know if you really want to play the game and stuff like that. But if not, I will catch you in the next one. Leave a like if you enjoyed. If you want to see more Metroid Prime videos, I will be uploading more, like on Metroid Prime 3, and also I think I'm gonna make one more. Oh, there's also a multiplayer mode in this game. If you know what, I think I'm gonna show that really quickly. Give me a second. So Metroid Prime 2 is the only game to have multiplayer of the trilogy. Metroid Prime Hunters had multiplayer, which came out after Metroid Prime 2, which I think, in my opinion, is the best multiplayer. But Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is essentially what Hunter's multiplayer is, except you can't play as many people. You can play it with 4 people total, and it's 4 player split screen, which is really cool. I actually don't think I can really show this with unless I have 2 controllers, but it's very like arena based. It's kind of like Doom and old Halo, where there's like power-ups on the map. You collect the power-up and then you can fight other players. It's a very simple thing, but honestly, it's really, really cool, and I really, really like how they even had it. I guess I can't really show it because I don't have 2 controllers right now, but that's really cool that it even has a multiplayer. Obviously, if they remaster this game and they had the multiplayer online and they fleshed it out more with like more maps and stuff, I think it could actually be really cool. Um, but yeah, overall, Metroid Prime 2, I love it. Like I said, if you like this game, leave a like. If you want to stay tuned, see more Metroid Prime videos like Metroid Prime 3, be sure to stay subscribed, and I will catch you when I talk about Metroid Prime 3. See you in the next one.